state-of-the-art 300-acre intermodal rail terminal alongside Interstate 35 in San Antonio, advancing the city's goal to establish itself as a NAFTA inland port. In an August the 23rd announcement, the railroad said the San Diego terminal will process more than 100,000 truck trailers annually when completed in 2008, with the capacity to grow to a potential 250,000 trailers and containers per year. Kyle Burns, president and CEO of the Free Trade Alliance San Antonio, told WorldNet Daily in an email, the new Union Pacific intermodal facility located in South San Antonio will be a benefit to San Antonio by further enhancing our world-class logistics and transportation infrastructure that currently handles interstates and rail lines running both north and south and east and west. San Antonio is at the crossroads of U.S., Mexican, Canadian trade. With over 80,000 semi-trucks currently traveling to rail yards within the San Antonio city limits to pick up or drop off containers and trailers, the new facility is designed to relieve traffic in the city. Additionally, the new terminal will give the option to drop off containers with easy access from I-10 and I-35, accompanying in San Antonio many trucks that now must go through the city to Houston and drop off containers for trains bound for other destinations. I-35 runs through the heart of Texas and through the heart of America. Remember the principle that when we divide Israel, America will be divided? Well, you know what the dividing highway is in America? I-35. And for those of you who may believe Dimitri Duneman, what he has said regarding America, that he said that the angel said, he said that there would be a rebellion against the government from the middle of the country. You know where the middle of the country is? Texas. And you know, Texans have a way of having an independent spirit. And I-35 goes straight to the heart of Texas. And when the economy falls and, you know, our government is paving the way for the North American Union, I can see Texans taking to I-35 and blocking commerce from going through I-35 as a part of a rebellion against the government and against the North American Union. Now, one other thought about I-35. In the Bible, there's a very important I-35 as well. It's Isaiah chapter 35. It talks about Zion being redeemed and there being a highway of holiness.
You know, I've been wondering for a while why this Mexican trucking initiative garbage is being put through. Why didn't the Teamsters do anything? They spoke words, but they did nothing. I'll tell you why. It finally hit me a couple of weeks ago why the Teamsters did nothing. Teamsters is one of the largest unions in the United States of America. They easily and often join with the AFL-CIO and the American Rubber Workers. Yes. Easily, if they had mobilized their members, the men and women who are part of Teamsters, this would not have happened. But Teamsters saw it another way. I realize this. By saying, let them go. Now Teamsters gets to mobilize their men to unionize Mexican truckers. In unionizing these men, they will be taking their hard-earned American new Ameros. Unions, including the Teamsters, are the #1 political donors in this country. This will benefit the unions, this will benefit the Republicans, this will benefit the Democrats. The only people who get screwed in this are the American people and the men and women these unions are supposed to be representing. And the people who need to block I-35 are the current Teamster members, are the current AFL-CIO members, are the current rubber workers who are waiting on these deliveries who may never get there because now truckers in this country who are reasonably safe drivers, we will have truckers that are unsafe with unsafe drivers.
I believe when the economy collapses, that'll happen, Mark.
I don't have any proof for what I'm about to say. This is just a feeling that I have in my gut. The crash of I-35W into the Mississippi River was because that thing is only like 3 or 4 lanes wide, and they need 8 lanes to go up and down this whole thing. And so they had to get that bridge out of there, and now they're going to be able to say, well, we got that one out of there, let's go ahead and tear the other one out too. And it's just, I'm sorry, I just believe that our government is absolutely corrupt and wicked, and they are nothing but there's nothing but a conspiracy against the people and against God specifically. Our government is against Yahweh. And so that's all I got to say about it.
In the article you read before, it said a tribunal told the Bush administration what to do on this. How can any tribunal, and who is that tribunal? Is that some kind of UN tribunal? What is that?
When they set up NAFTA, they set it up so that there would be a bureaucracy that is over the United States government, that has the authority to tell the United States government what to do. That's the tribunal.
That is our government committing treason against the Constitution.
Yep. Okay, now the last article I read, in case you're not up on financial news. Okay, one more comment here in the congregation before we do our last article.
In our little town of Bedford, where we have 205 foreclosures, we also have a big trucking depot that has been built, and the trains are running day and night to be able to house all these, what do you call those? Trucks on the back of the truck.
Okay, for those of you who are not paying close attention to the financial news, on Friday the stock market was down 250 points. The former Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan kind of like blew it off and said, we've been through these crises before, but this is a crisis unlike any other crisis, I believe. And gold this week went past $700. It had problems passing $700, and it broke through it and closed at about $710. So why possibly is this happening? This article is from the London Sunday Telegraph on September the 6th, and it reads as follows. A sharp drop in foreign holdings of U.S. Treasury bonds over the last 5 weeks has raised concerns that China is quietly withdrawing its funds from the United States, leaving the dollar increasingly vulnerable. Data released by the New York Federal Reserve shows that foreign central banks have cut their stash of U.S. Treasuries by $48 billion since late July, with falls of $32 billion in the last 2 weeks alone. This comes as a big surprise and is definitely worrying, says a currency trader. We won't know if China is behind this until the Treasury releases its TIC data in November, but what it does show is that world central banks are in a hurry to get out of the United States. They don't seem to be switching into other currencies, so it's possible that they're moving into gold instead. So there are rumors that China has started to sell U.S. bonds, and they're taking the money and buying gold, and that's why gold went through $700 an ounce. Now, the financial people on Friday said that because the economy looks like it's weakening and there was a loss of jobs this month for the first time since 2003, that the Federal Reserve needs to lower interest rates again. However, there's a problem with that this time. The dollar is falling, and every time you lower interest rates, the dollar will fall more. And ultimately, if the dollar falls too fast, which over the past 5 years it's dropped 50% against some currencies, that if it drops too fast, economically, the only way that you can defend your currency is to raise interest rates, which means the economy crashes. So if they drop interest rates, the economy crashes. And if they raise interest rates, the economy crashes. Whatever they do is the only thing that they do short term is for a short term measure to get us until they can blame a crisis in the world that ultimately caused the dollar to collapse. Because they want the dollar to collapse, because unless the dollar collapses, we can't get a North American Union and we can't get world government. And they want a North American Union and they want world government. They just don't want to be blamed for it. So I think they're going to permit, we'll see a terrorist attack, and they're going to blame and tell the ignorant American people who know nothing about economics that the reason why the dollar crashed was because of the terrorist attack, when in fact the conditions